What's up, folks? My name is Melvin, and if you are the one subscriber we had many time ago, then welcome back. I hope you're very excited. We're trying something new. I think we're going to completely change the style that we had before. We really don't know what we're going to try yet, but this is something we're going to try to do weekly. Is that what you would think, John? Weekly, or do you think more? I think start with weekly would be best.
Yeah, we could definitely start it out as a weekly. I think that's something to strive for.
Yeah, I think if I see the future of this, I think I would definitely, want to at least do two. But I think for now, considering how busy we are, I think once a week is, I think, the perfect amount of time. So, John,
You,
let's just start with some simple banter. How are you? How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm not freezing to death in this horrid winter
Yeah,
weather
this
where I'm
weather has been
just slipping and
horrible.
sliding and hoping not to get a concussion.
No, yesterday I had to film something, and oh man, we were outside for like an hour, and my fingers were really numb. So that was not a fun experience. Just man, this global warming thing, it's really horrible. Gosh. So cold,
Did your
man.
fingers turn blue or did they turn red?
No, they were just really red. They were really,
Oh,
really
like
red.
like little Dominican Vienna sausages.
That sounds delicious. Don't make me hungry right now. I just ate. I don't want to
Dip.
keep eating. You're gonna make me
Oh, I
fat. I
haven't
hate that.
eaten.
Gosh, I
You
need to stop
texted
thinking
me
about
at like 10 in
food.
the morning when I woke up and you're like, John, we're doing this. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we've been really lazy this week. We just haven't prepared at all.
No.
But I think it's still gonna be a fun episode. I think we're still gonna have a lot to talk about. I think this will be enjoyable. I think, with the beginning we're kind of nervous, but I think as we continue along, we will be very comfortable doing this and have a great time. I think so. Let's get that can-do attitude. All right. So, do
If
you
we
want to
weren't having
introduce the
fun, we
first?
wouldn't be doing this.
Do you want to introduce the first episode or first topic, or do you want me to do it?
I feel like you're more organized than me at the
Oh,
moment,
really?
so good sir,
I thought
please
you
take
would.
the stage.
I don't know. I like the way you describe things because you always, whenever we talk about things, you always bring up something that I didn't realize, and then I feel smarter. But I guess I could start this. All right. So this was actually kind of an old. A lot of these topics are not the most recent, but they're still interesting to start dialogue. Oxford University extends exam time for women's benefit. So it seems that. So I'll just read a little bit of the article. Students taking maths and computer science examinations in the summer of 2017 were given an extra 15 minutes to complete their papers after Downes ruled that female candidates might be more likely to be adversely affected by time pressure. There was no change to length or difficulty of the questions. So basically what they're doing is just extending the time. That's really all they're doing. They're just extending it by an extra 15 minutes. And then there are many ways to look at this. Will this, really benefit women who take maths and computer science? Now, this is actually a great topic to start off with because I was actually planning on majoring in computer science, but then I just switched it to electronic media instead because that's just where my passion fell through. And then I changed my minor to
Also
computer
a lot
science.
less math.
Yeah, a lot less math too. A lot less math requirements. Thank the Lord right there. And then I switched it to web development just because that would benefit my major even more. And that's even less math. So there was like a math class that I didn't even have to take if I would have switched it to to web development sooner. But I didn't really see that, so whatever. I'm still doing web development. I'm still enjoying it. And in all of my computer science class, there is a minute number of women. Even in high school. In high school, there was like four women in our computer science class, and then AP computer science. I think in AP computer science, there was only two women, or even one. And then in every single computer science class I've been in, I'm trying to remember the numbers, but they're really tiny. I think in
At
the one,
least 7.
I think seven, like in all of the classes I've taken, probably seven total. There have not been a lot. And in my college classes, whenever we bring up these like, social things about equality, I always bring up how little women there are in computer science classes. And then I always say, we're not trying, like, I've never seen an example where professors are like saying, no, women can't be in these classes. It's just they don't want to take them, you know? Similar to how, more there in terms of the nurses, there are a lot more women than there are male, you know? I think if there's male nurses, I don't think that'd be a big deal. And if there was more male nurses, I think it would be seen as a more socially appropriate thing. But we just don't
They're
see
called
them.
nurses.
Mhm. But we just don't see those kinds of things. I don't know why. I really don't know the explanation of this. I don't go to school to learn this stuff. Oh, I kind of do, but not in that much detail. So I don't know. So they're trying to, bring more women into math and computer science, which I have no problem with. I think that'd be a great thing if more people were just in those fields in general. Now, let me think. John, what do you think about timed tests in general? Do you think they help prepare you? Like when you only have an
You
hour to
mean,
take an exam, do you think,
and that would help me study for the exam if I knew it was just gonna be an hour?
well, if you knew you had unlimited time to take the test, do you think more people would pass?
Yeah, probably, because I do know, like, I'll crack under pressure sometimes. Like, when I was taking my exams in London, for example, they don't have multiple choice over there. It's all essays, and you're being timed for that.
Hmm.
And so, every now and then the proctor would say, 15 minutes, like half an hour has passed, or you have an hour left, and you still have all these paragraphs to write. Like, that's just very unsettling.
All right. Were your grades better or worse in London?
My GPA dropped a little bit, honestly, just a tad bit, but
Okay.
that's because in the communications department at our home university here, it's very multiple choice oriented with the exams, very fill in the blank, and then England is just all exams, and then I'm not used to that at all. Just a
Okay, so
totally
it's
different type of testing environment
so it's
there.
just being like out of your environment.
It was out of my environment. I wasn't in my niche,
Do
there
you
to
think
say.
do you think students should be prepared with the type of like being timed? Do you think that's how we'll get the best students if we make them feel like they're under pressure when they're taking tests?
Definitely, I think being under pressure just will help you produce a better quality of work
Yeah, I think so too.
because
So
you
oh, I'm sorry.
well, you have deadlines for everything in life and like in the workplace, etc. Like you have to pay your rent at this date, or you have to have this project submitted by this date. Or Jenkins, can you have those financial reports on my desk by 5 o'clock before dinner? Where yeah, like we are a very time oriented society, and that's just how it is. And we're going to have to be teaching our young adults in college that's how it works. And then it's just that's just not doable if we're giving them unlimited time. Like those poor proctors just sitting there all day. Could you imagine? Like if they were just sitting there for hours among hours. Like I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, if you're going to be taking a test for hours and hours when it's supposed to only be 90 minutes, then I don't then there's something wrong with how you're like preparing for these types of exams. I really think so. Imagine if in surgery, when it's supposed to be only 60 minutes, you're taking 4 hours. You're messing up a lot of people's schedules. Everything is under pressure. So while Oxford thinks that this will be improving women, I think it's going to be uh, like crippling both men's and women's ability to, be under pressure and trying to figure out solutions faster. We need to be kind of preparing people more and more to be thinking as fast as possible. We should not be doing the opposite. And I think if the best way to encourage women to be doing computer science and math is to just show them how many different ways you can use computer science and math. I think that's the best way to teach anyone computer science. Like, oh, you can do this. Like, you don't have to just be focused. You don't have to know a super amount of math to be good at computer science. You really don't need to. Uh, but if you are going to be like going like top tier, like creating operating systems, then yeah, you need a lot of math. It need to be, but no, you don't have to do that. You can make websites. And to make websites, you really don't know math. The only reason why I'm taking a math related computer science class is only because I need it for my minor. but I'm pretty sure once I graduate, I'm probably not going to be using a lot of those tactics because I already know how to make a website. I've already learned PHP. That didn't require math. I'm going to learn JavaScript soon. I'm pretty sure it's not going to require math. It will require some math, but like, simple high school math. So some algebra, maybe some pre-calculus, stuff like that. That's all you need to do to convince people to be in computer science. And if they're not into it, then they're not into it. I think we need to encourage people to be like, if their interest is in something else, we shouldn't be seeing that as, just like, oh, this is unequal.
Well, I think it really just boils down to what interests and different goals men and women have, and how there is a difference in that. Like, for example, you were using the example of, I cannot talk today, I'm so sorry,
Oh, you're
of
good, dude.
how nurses are a female dominated area while computer science is male dominated. And again, it just probably boils down to what can you see yourself doing for a majority of your life. But fortunately, there are educational programs and movements that are encouraging young women to go into the math and science field, where, of course, since they are a minority in their field, I feel like there should be more being told about the benefit of entering computer science or biology or physics or engineering, and how a more diverse workplace can have a positive impact on it overall. But you shouldn't be forcing people to enter a field that they're probably not going to enjoy. But like, let's say, Melvin, like, can you, I don't know, imagine yourself being a plumber?
I guess, well, honestly, I could. All right, no, just say like a personal trainer. That's something I never see myself doing
A personal
because
trainer.
a personal trainer, no, I could not be a personal trainer. I could not be a teacher either. Teacher is something I could never be.
Well, I'm gonna take you out of your high school classroom for a day or two, and I'm gonna introduce you to personal trainers, and they're going to help explain to you the benefits and why you should become one. I'm gonna buy you a free meatball sub. Isn't that gonna be dandy and delicious? And where, of course, you are educating these young women, but again, you shouldn't just try to. I mean, then again, I don't really know how these programs are operated in all honesty, but would you say it's more of an educational process, Melvin, or just like career indoctrination?
I think they're just really trying to boast their numbers. Like if Oxford becomes the first college to have like more women in computer science than men, then so many people are just like so many women will who are focused on computer science will go there. So I think that's just what they're trying to do. I think this is just a way of advertising. And I think that's what colleges are trying to do now. They're just trying to advertise themselves like, hey, come here. We will do everything we can to get the career you want. And I don't like that. I don't think that's how education should be necessarily. Like
How
you
universities are ran more like businesses today than actual places of higher education.
yeah, they're turning into like I don't know, they're really trying to sell you. I really don't like that. Like I don't know if you've ever had this in your high school, like these career fairs or something like that, or like so many of these colleges and so many of these businesses will come in and really try to sell you on why you should come to our college. Like
Hey,
really, really
Melvin, if you're
try.
gonna go to Northwestern University, we'll give you a free frisbee, and then we'll just give you $100 coupon to the Northwestern bookstore. Hip hip hooray! You
Like
wanna
yeah,
go here?
like I remember I took a tour to Madison, and Madison, Jesus, like UW Madison looks phenomenal, and they have so much stuff there. They have like fresh ice cream. Like their ice cream is fresh. Like I don't know how
They
they
have cows on campus.
yeah, like
They
it
have
comes
live
from like
cows on
fresh
campus.
dairy
They'll
farms. Like
make
they're
ice
really
cream.
trying to sell you and making this experience. And it's like I don't know. Shouldn't you be focused on the education, really? Like, shouldn't that be your main focus? Is the education? And I think one of the other issues is like, when you graduate from a college, it just has the name of the college itself. It doesn't have what professors you learned from. Because I feel like that's the main thing. Is like, if is your professor good? Is your professor teaching you properly? Because I'm learning just as much from my work, from where I work, than from, just as much as from the classes I'm taking because my boss puts so much attention into me. Like he wants me to be better at what I'm doing. and that's also because the job I work in is also essentially my career. So he's putting that extra effort into me. But if you have a bad professor and you graduate from Oxford, then what's the point, you know?
Well, then there's the debate if like if it's really worthwhile for you to be in that class or be taking that professor or even in the field you want to study because when I was in London, I was taking a political science course with students from all over the world, and some of them I became pretty close to. And me and a friend of mine from Lebanon, we were joking. Like I wanted to tell a history professor I had there that I feel like I could be learning the same things from a Wikipedia article than um God, I can be learning the same things from Wikipedia that you're teaching me, and Wikipedia would probably give me a more in-depth and more non-biased explanation than you are. As awful as that sounds.
Well, no, yeah, I think school is incredibly outdated. I think it really is. Like school should be competing with the internet in terms of how beneficial it is for your time and money. Because right now the internet's winning hands down. But the only thing college has going for itself is notoriety and is like professionalism. Like they're going to teach you in a professional manner, they're going to have one-on-one. But the internet can do the exact same thing, but businesses are not trying to make internet seem legitimate because then that'll ruin the business of college. And I don't think businesses want that. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like college really needs to step up its game, but they're never going to because businesses rely heavily on colleges trying to bring people in to work for them, you know? I don't
And
know if that
that's
makes
true. And
like
then there's
trying to
also the
hire you right
cozy
out of college.
relationship.
Like
Sorry, sorry, what?
like trying to hire you right out of college, you know? Um I know every year because the college we go to is so focused on business, we have so many people like we have the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks coming into our college and talking to these students because they want those students to work for them eventually. So the owner of the Milwaukee Bucks is never going to say, "Oh, you can learn this stuff on the internet." He will never say that, even though it is true. And professors don't want you to believe that either because then yeah, they'll lose business as well. They want to teach people. You know, they want to tell you that hey, it's worth the price because they think so. And if they think so, that's fine, but you know, us kids, us youngins, we sort of see it differently. And I hope one day education does change to sort of compete against the internet, but I don't know if it ever will. I don't know if it ever will, but I really hope it does someday.
Well,
Um,
that you need that piece of paper you get after college claiming that you are an educated individual and you're fit for the workplace. Not that we're encouraging our listeners to drop out of college
oh
and
yeah, no,
just
no,
go to
yeah.
Wikipedia University. No,
Don't
no, no, no,
listen to
that's not
us
going to
about
help you in
college
life.
advice. Well, we might make a podcast episode about college advice, but one of them is definitely not to just drop out. All right,
And read Wikipedia for 4 years.
so yeah, but
Elvin, can
again,
you imagine if I'm interviewing you and I'm like, what's your educational background?
oh,
And you're like, yeah, I
Wikipedia.
went to this high school, I went to this university, but I dropped out and I just read a bunch of Wikipedia articles. I wouldn't hire you.
Yeah, so we will give you advice in the future, so don't worry about that. But yeah, this 15-minute is just not it's not benefiting anyone. It's really hindering all the students that are trying to get a decent education. And Oxford knows that, but they just want more students working for them. That's my opinion. That's completely my opinion. I have no proof of that.
You
So Twitch
fucking
just recently
bitch.
came out with their new guidelines, so I'll read a little bit of their article of their blog. Today, we're sharing an update to our community guidelines. This is just the first of many improvements coming to the policies, moderation process, and safety features on Twitch. We use our community guidelines to keep the community strong and safe. So, and I skip a little bit. Uh, so, over the past several months, you've told us certain sections of the community guidelines were not clear enough, or in some cases, not strong enough to govern this ever changing landscape, and we were too slow to act. To begin, oh, wait, gosh, my website messed up. All right. To begin addressing this, we're rolling up a series of updates to the policies moderation process, so they're just updating these certain practices. So, one of them is anti harassment and hateful conduct policies. We want everyone to not only feel welcome on Twitch, but to be proud to be a part of the community. First conduct we deem to be hateful will result in an immediate indefinite suspension. Hate simply has no place in the Twitch community. Additionally, we will now consider verifiable hateful or harassment conduct that takes place off Twitch when making moderation decisions for actions that occur on Twitch. If you use other services to direct hate or harassment towards someone on Twitch, we will consider it a violation of Twitch's policies. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds very, very scary. Imagine if anywhere you work, they're like, oh, we're just going to essentially follow everything you do. And the moment you do something that we deem as hateful, you're done. You're out of here. That is a very
You
scary
mean
thing.
Google?
Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, like if you do things outside of work, you're still going to be like, here's the thing. They say we're trying to be more clear, but they're not really saying that. They're just saying hate speech. And hate speech is still one of the most like describable thing, because anything can be considered hateful to anyone. So I really don't know. And does that mean, like, John, you're a poopy head? If I tweet that out to you, am I going to be fired after being on Twitch?
I hope you are, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I hope so too. No one should see my face ever again. But this is insane. I think this is really insane, and I think YouTube kind of does the same thing too. It's like, if you have a bad reputation, we're gonna secretly, demonetize you. Because I think they do that. I think YouTube does that. Like, I think based on your reputation of your videos and like the type of comments you have, I think they do demonetize you. I think they do demonetize users for that. And it's no secret anymore. I think it's obvious. And I don't know if you know the history of Twitch, but Twitch has been well known for like banning users, the first sign of something crazy. And even if it's not that crazy, they ban people for it.
We all need to be red-pilled, man.
That's totally what it is. Yep. But how do you feel about this, John? How do you feel about this?
Well, it's their company and they can run it the way they want to. And since you're agreeing as a user to use their platform, they basically have the power to exercise their policies. But then you can also disagree with the policy, claiming it's ludicrous and how they are just using it to exercise their political ideology and spread their narrative of narrow-mindedness. And usually one can argue that is on the left wing of the political spectrum. But then again, I'm not saying that I support any side of that spectrum, but I'm just calling it out how it is.
Yeah, essentially that's what I mean, like, yes, they're private companies. They can do whatever they want, but I'm gonna say shit to them if I think it's bad. And I think this is bad practice right here. You just gotta let people do whatever they want, and if they do something bad on that platform, then yeah, punish them however you want. But I don't know. For hate speech, that's a very vague term, and I think that's going to get a lot of people in trouble for no real reason. I remember just recently there was this one guy who tweeted at like one of the biggest Twitch users because he was sort of using a Chinese accent once from time to time whenever he was playing PUBG, because PUBG is really popular in China, so he just uses an accent sometimes whenever someone from China kills him or he kills someone from China. Is that hate speech? Will the biggest Twitch user, so that means like thousands, if not like hundreds of thousands of people are watching him at the same time. Will that user just, his whole career will be done for because he just uses a bunch of Chinese accents for no reason, for the sake of comedy?
Well, you could argue that it's culturally insensitive to the Chinese people.
You could say that, but is it hate speech? Is it hateful to use accents? Is it hateful when Robert Downey Jr. plays an Australian dude who plays a black dude in a Ben Stiller film? I don't know
if accents were actually considered hate speech, Gabriel Iglesias would be out of a job.
Yeah, like, these are questions we need to ask. Like, what if hate speech is going to continue, which I don't think it should, but if it is, we need to know like the rules so that we can actually fight against it. I think that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to debate some of these ideas, because we don't even know what some of these ideas are. We don't know some of the ideas. We don't even know all the ideas of feminism because it's always changing all the time. And I think it's the same thing with PC culture. We don't know these ideas because they're always ever changing. So how can we debate these kinds of things? But we still got to keep trying. If we see an idea that's bad, then we got to call it out for what it is. And that's all we can do.
That is our departing message with you listeners for today. because
Yes.
I'm hungry and I need to eat food.
Yes, John needs to eat because he's a big boy. He's a growing boy that needs to continue growing.
Hey, Mel,
He needs
you know
his
what we should
soy
talk about
supplements.
next time?
John, you need to go get
You
your
know,
soy
about-
supplements.
we should talk about swatting, Melvin. Swatting.
Swatting is a very big topic, John. You think you're prepared for that?
Do you know what swatting
I
is?
know what swatting is. I've known swatting for years and I've always hated it. It's
All right.
it's a
We should
dumb
talk about
thing.
that next time.
We talk about Tide Pods next time because they're delicious. I
Ooh, I
love
love
them.
Tide Pods. That's what I'm gonna go have for lunch.
Yep, you're gonna have Tide Pods for lunch.
All right.
Okay,
Bye,
John.
Melvin.
Okay,
Bye,
John.
listeners.
All right, John's leaving. I can talk about how much of a piece of shit he is.
I'm gonna just stuff my face with
John, you're
Tide
not gone
Pods.
yet. I can't talk about how much of a piece of shit you are until you hang up.
Melvin, we both know that you love me and dearly.
John, I
You'll
know
never
that's
say
true,
anything
but
bad.
I still wanna say it. Still wanna call you a piece of shit, John, because I love you. That's why.
Love you too, babe.
All right, bye, John. Oh, he hung up already. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll have much more in the pipeline if we're not that lazy in the future. So take care, folks.